Hello YouTube, it's me, Wilrind, back again with a TCG deck profile. This is for the new Banlist. This is post Photon Hypernova and for the new Banlist. I brought something with me to locals just the other day, which is yesterday. Some spice. It's very interesting. I ended up winning locals. It was 4 rounds. Went up against what is it? Super Heavy round 1. Whatever. Then we played against like True King Dinos, Adamantipator, and Branded Despia. But what did I take today? I took Sprite Purrely. Yes, a combination of Sprite and Purrely. Deck is pretty crazy actually. The deck was like definitely surprised me. I'm gonna go over the deck profile here right now for you guys to see what the sauce is here. Nobody's playing this deck. Obviously, it's missing some support from Cyberstorm access from the next set after Photon Hypernova. But the deck was really good. It actually, the amount of OTK setups you could do in it was pretty nice. So I'll go over the deck profile right now. Play triple copies of Sprite Blue, obviously. The Sprite Engine here, triple elf. Or Jet, sorry. Elf is banned now. Keep that in mind. Elf is banned with no elf needed. We play triple Jet. 1 red, 1 carrot, and 1 Pixies. This card's crazy. And especially with the Purrely cards, we'll go over that in a moment. That makes up the monsters there. Then we play triple copies of Starter. 1 Smashers. This card did not come up at all. I might consider cutting it, or at least siding it for something. It never was that useful, honestly. There was never a time where I felt like I needed to search it or want it, because this card is just better. 1 copy of Spike Gamma Burst. It makes all 2s, like links, ranks, and level 2s, gain 1400 attack, which is kind of what you need to do now in Sprite. You need to be able to set up a wide board and punch in hard, but especially works well with the rank 2 Purrely monsters. Specifically Happiness, because that's what allows you to close out games very quickly. That makes up the Sprite cards. For the Purrely, there's 3 copies of Purrely. You have to play 3. There's only 1 main deck monster right now. One thing about this archetype is pretty much everything in it is a soft once per turn, including this. This triggers on special summon or normal summon, which allows you to excavate the top 3, then add a Purrely, spell a trap from among them to your hand, and bury the rest. That is not once per turn, so you can summon it to do the effect, and then if you use any of the other Purrely effects, they have the added effect to summon a Purrely from deck, so then you can use that to activate again, which allows you to set up multiple XYZ monsters off of multiple copies of Purrely. This is the Heart and Soul of the deck, and why you would play the deck. You need to play this with the Purrely cards. Usually you want to summon it first, or before you start getting yourself locked out of 2s, because the one thing about it is a level 1, it's not a level 2. Only the XYZs are rank 2s, which synergize with the Sprite. So you want to be able to, usually you do your Purrely plays early, go into your ranked 2 plays, and then start doing your Sprite combo plays, or at least bait out early with the Sprite stuff and then Purrely afterwards. Purrely spell and trap cards. I play 2 copies of the field spell. I don't think 3 is needed right now, not at least until the next wave of support comes. Because it's not really a mandatory thing to have. You have it. You can search it with My Friend Purrely, kind of, if your opponent gives it to you. But otherwise, it's not something you need to have. You open it, it's fine. But you don't want to see multiple copies either, so I think 2 is a good number to play, so play 2. So what it does, it protects your Purrelys from being targeted to turn to summoned, which is really good because Imperm and like Valor can really shut you down if you're not careful, so having the ability to stop those is really nice. It also lets you attach a Purrely quick play to an XYZ, a Purrely XYZ monster during the end phase. I think it's every end phase too. Yeah, during what's per turn during the end phase, so this works during the opponent's end phase as well. You just get to attach a Purrely quick play to one of your Purrely XYZs. And then also if you're Purrely, it has like the Mirror Jade effect too, where if one of your Purrely XYZ monster leaves the field from an opponent's card, you get to special summon a level 1 Purrely from the deck. So it gives you added grinding capabilities which is super nice. So we play 2 copies of that. There's 2 copies of My Friend Purrely. Again, this is not one you really need to load up on. It's one you don't want to see multiples of. It's pay 500 and it reveals 3 Purrely cards from your deck. And then you choose one of them to... Your opponent chooses one to add to your hand. And the rest get shuffled back. It's just a +1 every single turn, and it has an extra effect too. Same idea as like Mirror Jade with your XYZs. If they leave the field by an opponent's card, you can target, including in the damage step. This one even says even during the damage step, you can target up to 3 Purrely quick plays with different names in your graveyard and add them to your hand. So it's very hard to run out of gas with the exception of losing all your Purrely monsters, but that usually isn't a problem because we're trying to be aggressive and like OTK anyway. Next up, play 3 of each of the quick plays, 3 Happy Memory, 3 Delicious Memory, and 3 Pretty Memory. These are not once per turns, by the way, so you can activate them as many times as you want to like summon Purrely or to use their effects and then use the XYZs to attach them. Pretty Memory is the best one because you can use it while going first. Ideally, like for me, I was just like blinding a second with the deck most of the time. That way I can get use of all the Purrely cards. Happy Memory targets a card on the field to make it so it can't be destroyed by card effects once until the end of the next turn. This can target any card, including like your own set cards. So if you need a way to get to Purrely, you can just set a card. And like if you're going first, set a card and then activate it, target the card, and then you can summon a Purrely by discarding a card. Other than that, it's used as an OTK tool to put onto usually a Purrely Happiness or any of the other Purrelys for that matter. Whatever this is attached to gains an additional attack on monsters, pretty much. Delicious Memory is the one that makes it so they can't be destroyed at battle until the next turn. And then whatever this is attached to gains an extra 300 attack and defense for each material on that monster. So this is again part of your OTK package, and you can even use it defensively on with Noir if you have multiple attached to it. It really like gets really kind of snowballs out of control. And then Pretty Memory is just each player gains 1,000 life points, but it's a XYZ effect, the one that's attached to the XYZ monster. Lets you send a card you control to the graveyard, and then choose a card your opponent controls. Any card, spell a trap monster, and it attaches that monster to that card to your Purrely as material. It's a once per turn effect. So the deck has a crazy ability to break boards, especially when you combine it with the Spright stuff. That makes the quick play spells there. And then last, I play for the Purrely cards. I play 1 copy of Purrely Yeep. Yeep. This card is pretty good. It's not bad. It has a graveyard effect that you can banish it to target 3 Purrely monsters and shuffle them to the deck. That's so that like you don't ever really run out of Purrelys. The other effect it has, you can target a Purrely XYZ monster control and then summon, you overlay on top of it one with a different rank. But then it gets sent back to the extra deck or whatever, or back to the extra deck when during the end of the next turn. But usually when you activate this card, you're trying to push lethal anyway. Which is what I did actually. I got to use this on next Purrely Noir to go back into a Happiness, and then was able to attack for game that way and push. This card was okay. And then non-under engine pieces or other techs and stuff. I do play a small Nimble package, so I play 3 copies of Beaver and one copy of Angler. I could see myself playing a second copy of Angler because having this as a discard for your Purrely allows you to like really extend, because you can just summon like 2 beavers. Like if you open a beaver in like Angler, for example, in Purrely, you can summon a Purrely, discard the Angler, and then Angler lets you summon 2 beavers, and then that beaver normal summon can get back another beaver later on because it can revive one from the graveyard too. A lot of ways to make rank 2s in this deck, which is why we wanted to play a full like rank 2 package. Beavers, the Nimble package, Sprites. Yeah, this is really good. I definitely think it was necessary. So I played a small Nimble package. And then last couple of texts, I played 2 copies of Talents. This card's insane, pretty much always, except when it's not insane. But I got to steal a Crystal Wing and push for lethal, so that was cool. and then 3 copies of Impermanence. And that makes up the main deck. That's 40 cards. I chose Imperm. I was thinking about main decking Nibiru as well, just because I just felt like those were like the 2 best hand traps going into a blind format. Alright, for the extra deck, I play 2 copies of Beauty. This is the one that you summon off of Pretty Memory. When you reveal Purity Memory with the Purrely's effect, which I've got to mention. Purrely has an effect that allows you to reveal one of the quick plays, and then it uses the material and itself to go into one of the Purrely rank 2s with this effect. And the one you go into is depending on which memory you reveal. Like Pretty Memory goes into Beauty, Delicious Memory goes into Plump, and Happy Memory goes into Happiness. So this one is like really solid because it can play both defensively and aggressively. So as long as it has a level 1 Purrely attached to it, it has a quick effect to Imperm, basically, a monster, which is super solid. And then whenever all the rank 2s have a thrice per turn effect, where if you activate a Purrely quick play, you can attach that Purrely quick play, kind of like Thunder Dragon Titan. When you activate a Thunder, you can use the effect. Purrely Beauty, all the Purrely rank 2s, they have an effect where if you activate a quick play, you can attach that quick play to the Purrely monster, and then usually they come with some extra bonus. Purrely Beauty's bonus is that you can change the battle position of monster your opponent controls. It can be used defensively. It can be used aggressively too, which is super nice as well. So I play 2 copies of that. 2 copies of Plump. This one is how you probably the most defensive one. It's how you make a big like a Zeus or the rank 7 materials. It's yeah, it's super interesting. So it has a quick effect where if it has its base effect is you can target 2 spell trap cards in the graveyards and attach it to it. It's a quick effect if it has Delicious Memory attached to it. So very easily, like if you summon it with like Delicious Memory Purrely, it has 2 materials. It's also a big defense 2100. You get another 2 more materials on your turn, another 2 materials on your opponent's turn. If it sticks around, then you just have like a massive rank 7 you can go into. And then when this, whenever you activate a Purrely quick play spell up to 3 times per turn, you can attach to that. And then it has a Weather Painter Moonbow effect where it banishes a monster until the next like end phase or whatever. Calling it Moonbow effect just to piss off all the BA players. And then we play 2 copies of Purrely Happiness. This one you summon a lot, actually. So this is the one where, at the end of the damage step, if this card battles, you can add a Purrely card from your deck. Any Purrely card from deck to the hand. That is not once per turn. And then if it has Happy Memory attached to it, you can have the attack with a face-up monster on the field. And then up to 3 times per turn, again, if you activate a Purrely card, you can attach it to it, and then it halves the attack of another monster on the field. So this card is part of the reason why you really want to combo it with the Sprite Engine, because in combination of like Gamma Burst and like Sprite Pixies, you can make this thing like massive. If your opponent has like a full board, like 4 monsters in play, you can just summon this, give it a Pixies boost or a Gamma Burst boost, and then it'll attack for like 3400 or whatever on a monster. You get the effect. This effect can allow you to search another copy of the Happy Memory, and the Happy Memory you can activate to equip to the Purrely Happiness, which then you can chain to attach the Happy Memory to the Happiness. And then because this gives you an additional attack on monsters +1 for every copy of this card attached to it, you just get to attack again. You get to search when you hit another monster, which searches another Happy Memory. You can activate another Happy Memory, so it's 2 Happy Memories, attach it onto here, again, a third attack, and then get another Happy Memory, use it, attach, and then a 4th attack. So that with like Gamma Burst and like Pixies makes for a very easy way to OTK in clear boards, because you can just attach all these to one Happiness, search a bunch of cards, and then you can search another random Purrely card at the end. Yeah, it's a lot like Linkage. Yeah, so this card facilitates a lot of the OTK plans, and the thing about all these Purrely rank 2s is they're generic. You can go into them with any level 2 monsters. which is very easy to do in, well, obviously Sprite, which is part of the reason why, the main reason why we added this Sprite package here. So it gives us a lot of ways to play through stuff and generic ways to make these so we can make huge pushes very effectively. And then for the last two Purrelys, I play the Happiness and the Noir. They both come up in their own scenarios. The Happiness comes up when you're trying to push for damage if you have 5 or more materials. They both can be made by using a Purrely XYZ with 5 or more materials on it. And then they all usually have effects. This one has an effect where you can attach materials from it. It's a Dark Ruler no more that can't be responded to if it has 5 or more materials. So your opponent can even use spell traps. It's also not once per turn, so if your opponent summons more things afterwards, you can do it again. And then whenever it attacks, I believe if it has a Purrely attached to it, you can inflict 1500 damage. So if you have all the happy memories attached to it, you can attack, deal 1500. If it's got delicious memories, it'll be like 4000 plus attack as well. So you can get like multiple attacks with that, and usually that'll close the game. And then this one, this one's crazy. I will say this one is, this one's a little nutty. So again, like the other one, it can be made with a Purrely XYZ with 5 materials. They're also generic too, so you could put them in any rank 7 decks, but you really want them in like a Purrely deck where you can stack a bunch of materials on them. It has the Psychic and Punisher effect where it's just unaffected by activated effects as long as it has 5 or more materials. So it can get really, it can just become a really nasty like giant towers that can't be outed. And then it has a quick effect to attach materials to spin a card. Target a card and your opponent controls are in the graveyard, and you can spin it, put it to the bottom of the deck. Tuck it away, sorry, it can tuck it away. And it's a quick effect if it has a level 1 Purrely attached to it. In one of my duels against Branded, I had this thing at 14 materials with a delicious memory under it, so it was like 5,000 attack. A 5,000 attack towers, so the only way he could realistically out it was by summoning a Mirror Jade, but then I can just spin away the Mirror Jade. So once I started just like clearing everything, it had like a pretty memory attached to it too, so I could just keep eating the opponent's cards every turn. Once everything was cleared, I used a Pure Leap to turn this into a Happiness with like 4 attacks and over 11,000 attacking a full Branded board. It was kind of crazy. Yeah, so that makes the Purrely portion of the deck. Last bit of stuff here, there's the Gigantic Sprite, which I played 1 Gigantic. I was going to play 2, but then I was grimly reminded that Dimensional Barrier exists. So I ended up cutting the 2nd Gigantic Sprite just for another Link 2, so I can maybe like make a board under Dimensional Barrier if they call XYZ, because it does really hurt if they call XYZ. So I played 1 Gigantic, could have been 2. I don't think the second one was necessarily needed. We got Small Zeus package. You're playing XYZs, you're playing lots of ways to get materials. You might as well. I actually never summoned Zeus, but it definitely can come up, especially if your opponent doesn't respect it. And then for the Link 2s I played 1 copy of IP, 1 copy of Pit Night Early, just more interaction as Link 2s. 1 copy of Sprint. This is for, you get the effect to detach to bounce opponent's monster. And then the Send for the Angler allows you to extend as well into, it makes the beavers and lets you make a gigantic Sprite funny. And then 1 Avermax to go with the IP. None of these 3 came up. The only one that came up consistently was Sprint. So, but I still think these cards have merits, but again, because like, you know, the whole Dimensional Barrier. There were people playing Dimensional Barrier, but I never actually got hit by it, so I kind of lucked out there. So that's the extra deck, and then we'll go with the side real quick. In the blind, not really knowing the format, I kind of just like threw stuff together that I thought I might have needed. So for the side deck, played 3 copies of Nibiru. I did say I wanted to main it. I still could consider maining it. But I was originally main decking this, and then I didn't have the Nibble package, and then I decided at the last minute that I felt like I needed a little bit more, so I decided to add the Nibble package. So I stuck the Nibiru to the sideboard. Just in the blind, they seem very good, especially against like Kashtira and stuff. 3 copies of Cosmic. I would have maxed out on Lightning Storm, but after playing like Runic for a few weeks, I was expecting people to bring Anti-Spell, so I wanted a quick play to deal with it, because our deck does get hurt by anti-spell as well. Our deck gets hit by a lot of floodgates, so having Cosmic is good. Also, for other back row removal, I did play one Duster, and I played one Lightning Storm, because I felt like I wanted at least a fair amount to deal with back row decks, because like, just in case there's going to be stuff like Labyrinth even, or like Eldritch that could have been there, because there are people that do pilot those decks. 2 copies of Book of Eclipse, just a good board breaker card in this format. It's good against Kashtira. It's probably pretty solid against Sword Soul, actually. Can shut off like the blackout and like the plays are pretty much forced to negate it with Barone if they don't have it. Otherwise, you just flip down the like Changing or Evil Long Yuan Chijia board, and then you generally can clear it with your Purrely stuff, potentially even OTK. Played 3 copies of D-Barrier. Again, just something I needed to go, that I felt like I needed to go going first. That was just going to be universally good in a blind format where we'd have no idea what's really going on, but we kind of have an idea. But there was going to be Sword Soul and Branded, so Dim Barrier was like kind of a shoo-in. You can play it going first. Another card deciding going first was a Spright Double Cross. This lets you attach a monster to one of your rank 2s, which is really nice. Just something I pretty much always brought in when I knew it was going first. And of course, you know me. Something's missing in my deck here. Where's my good luck charm? The last 15th card, 1 Winda, because of course I am. Yeah. So, gotta have her in my side deck. Gotta have her somewhere for good luck. So, yeah, that's the Purrely Sprite deck. Like I said, I haven't seen anybody play this deck at all. It's a lot of fun, though, and it's very surprisingly, like, consistent and strong. Yeah, it's a level 2 too, so we can use Winda for good for our rank 2 plays, link 2s. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that's the deck. A lot of fun, super good. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy that. We'll see you in the next video. Take care. Peace.